Now at 9, a women's health fair in Pittsburgh raises awareness for cervical health. Plus, local artists get their hands dirty while learning to wheel throw using their own ceramic projects. And Empire Market turns up the heat with their 5th annual chili cook-off in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy. 3 Missouri men have been arrested and charged after Missouri State Highway Patrol officers found human remains in a burn pile last Tuesday night. It happened in Cedar County, Missouri. Authorities arrested Bradley Keith of El Dorado Springs, Jimmy Cole of Stockton, and Brandon Schote of Lamar. Officials say all 3 men have been charged with tampering with physical evidence and abandonment of a corpse. The identity of the deceased has not been confirmed. The Webb City Fire Department responded to a residential structure fire last night. It happened just before 10 p.m. Oronogo, Joplin, and Carl Junction responded to assist Webb City Fire. The fire was declared under control at about 10:30 p.m. No one was home when the fire broke out, but 2 pets did die inside the home. Red Cross will be temporarily helping the family as they relocate. Police in Oklahoma have arrested 4 fraternity members in the case of a dead Longhorn placed outside an Oklahoma State University fraternity house. Luke Ackerley, Brody Shelby, Andrew King, and Bennett Fady were charged with unlawful removal and disposal of a carcass, a misdemeanor. The Longhorn was found December 1st, the eve of the Big 12 championship game in which OSU was playing against the Texas Longhorns. All 4 men have pleaded not guilty. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with the first look at weather.
Well, of course, it turned out to be another cold one for us today, but the sun helps. That makes it feel a little bit better across the region. We do have some clouds kind of skirting our northern counties, but overall, we are looking pretty good. But we are tracking a storm system out to the west, really the western third of the country. We have a few waves which are going to head toward us as we go into next week, and we'll start to see some moisture in here by Sunday night. Now, tonight's going to be fine. Very cold. We'll drop back to 13, 16 by 7. By 10 a.m. back to about 25 degrees. But we get above freezing tomorrow, which is great news. Freezing rain tomorrow night. That could cause some issues. Light glaze on the roads. And then we switch back to rain by the time we head into Monday. So, of course, we're going to break all this down for you coming up here in just a little bit. In
honor of Cervical Health Awareness Month, Pittsburgh hosted a women's health fair today. The event, organized by the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas, raised awareness for HPV and the importance of getting screened for cervical cancer. Exams were available for women between the ages of 21 and 65 years old.
We do breast cancer, we do lung cancer. No one really focuses on cervical cancer. It's a little bit more of an intimate exam, so some people are nervous and don't regularly go to their doctor. And so I actually had a patient this year that was affected by cervical cancer, and she was in her 30s. So I just came up with this idea and reached out to my planning team, and we got this scheduled.
The American Cancer Society estimates that almost 14,000 new cases of invasive cervical cancer will be diagnosed in 2024 in the U.S. Women's Health Fair had booths sharing information about other health-related issues as well. Organizers say they want to expand the event to other cities in the area. To learn how often you should get tested, go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Spiva Center for the Arts today hosted a neurographic art event. Neurographic art is a type of art therapy, and it's used to relax the mind and the body. Officials say the style of art encourages the brain to create new neural pathways.
Neurographic art is more of a recent thing for me. I began pour art, and then I do abstracts. And so I kind of added the neurographica to that.
The event was open to adults from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Local artists today were able to get their hands dirty while learning to wheel throw their own ceramic projects. The Spiva Center for the Arts hosted the event as wheel thrower Stephanie Roy shared different techniques. The event began at 1 p.m. and wrapped up around 4 p.m.
I found this class on Facebook and I've wanted to get back into pottery and I invited my sister.
I have a dog bowl right now I'm creating.
And I just finished a coffee cup.
The class was open for people 15 years of age and older with a fee of $60 per thrower. Joplin hosted the 5th annual Empire Market Chili Cook-Off today. 9 chilies were competing in the event and prizes were awarded to the top 3 contestants as decided by a panel of judges. The event also had public tasting, allowing people to cast their votes as well.
Brings back the old memories from when I was growing up around here. I was born in Joplin, and came around. I lived with my grandmother for some periods of time, and we just got to bond and cook through those times.
It's a way to bring more people into our four-season farmers market during the slower winter months. And every year we've had it grow.
The organization says all proceeds will support the Newton Community Kitchen. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile also was at the market during the event, adding an extra attraction to the Empire Market activities. Later, a new study finds that colon cancer is now the deadliest cancer among men under 50. Some spinach and salad kit products are coming off the shelves for potential links to listeria contamination. Bright Farms says it's recalling some of its spinach products in 7 states. The Food and Drug Administration says a routine sampling of the spinach at an Element Farms facility included positive tests for listeria, which could have cross-contaminated with Bright Farms products. The company reports no illnesses from the recalled spinach and salad kits. The FDA is warning that some charcuterie meats could contain salmonella. The charcuterie sampler from Bastero brand with the 3 types of meat sold through Sam's Club and the Fratelli Beretta brand's Antipasto Gran Beretta regular and twins packs sold through Costco should not be eaten and should be discarded immediately. The products are part of a salmonella outbreak being investigated. 47 illnesses from salmonella have been reported since January 5th. Troubling new data out from the American Cancer Society. A new report finds colon cancer is now the deadliest type of cancer in men under 50. Fox News correspondent Jeff Paul has more on the story.
Good news and bad news from the annual American Cancer Society report. New data finds cancer death rates are down by 33%, with more than 4 million fewer deaths across America since 1991. Researchers believe the decline is due to a drop in smoking rates, early detection rates, and improved treatments. The bad news? More young people are being diagnosed with colon and breast cancer. 2 decades ago, colon cancer ranked as the 4th leading cause of cancer deaths in young men and women. Now it's the deadliest cancer for men under the age of 50 and the 2nd deadliest cancer among women in the same age group, behind breast cancer. Doctors aren't sure what's behind the trend.
That part is still a little bit of a mystery. There are ongoing studies and continued research to try to figure out exactly the mechanisms and how this is happening, but we really are not sure.
Experts are now urging young people to not wait on early screening, which can start at the age of 45. Young people with a family history of the illness should screen even earlier.
If there are any symptoms, it is imperative that you speak with your physician, whether that be abdominal pain, rectal bleeding, other changes in your bowel movement.
Testing usually involves a colonoscopy, but doctors say there are now a variety of new screening options available.
There are stool tests that can be done, both to look for blood in the stool, as well as there's DNA testing on the stool.
According to the CDC, overall cancer is the 2nd leading cause of death in America, behind heart disease. In Los Angeles, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, Microsoft claims Russian hackers broke into company emails. We'll have the details.
Well, of course, another cold one for us today, but at least we have the sunshine, so that makes it feel a little bit better. Now we're going to start to get out of this deep freeze as we go into the next couple days. Now, tonight, everything's quiet by 11 p.m. down to 13, so it's going to be a cold night. 7 a.m., 16, back to 25 by 10 a.m. Overnight low of 13, which is still well below our average low. Average low is about 25 degrees. All right, not a whole bunch going on. We do have some clouds kind of skirting our northern counties. Besides that, we're pretty quiet, but if you look out west, the western third of the country, several waves. You can see the little spins off the coast of the Pacific Northwest. All these waves are going to head toward us. Here's the first one just west of Las Vegas. That will start to affect us tomorrow night. You can see the second one right behind it. So we are going to have those rain chances as we go through the week. Let me walk you through the rest of the weekend. All right, tonight about 13, but we rise toward dawn to about 15 or 16 degrees. Clouds increase. Mostly cloudy skies for us tomorrow, near 30 by noon. Once we get into the afternoon, 37 in Nevada, so warmer. Pineville, 36, 35 in Bentonville. Miami, 35, Pittsburgh, 35, 36 in Chanute. But it's tomorrow night. We drop back right around 30 degrees. You see this pink? This is light freezing rain mixed in with a little bit of sleet, freezing drizzle. Temperatures hovering right around 30, so these bands start to push through. So here's 9:30 p.m., so right about the end of the Chiefs game, we have light freezing drizzle and light freezing rain. So we are going to get a little bit of a glaze on the roadways. You can see another batch comes in after midnight. Here's 2 a.m. on Monday. Light freezing drizzle continues into Monday morning, but look at this. Temperatures warm and we switch over to rain. So any ice we do get on the roads, yeah, it could be a little slippery, but it will melt very quickly as we go back to rain throughout the daytime hours on Monday. So on Monday, we just have periods of rain, temperatures warm into the upper 30s. Here's what you want to know. How much ice could we get? Not a lot, maybe a tenth of an inch. So not enough to like bring down power lines or tree limbs, but enough to put a glaze on the roadways as we go into Monday morning. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. Here's your day planner for your Sunday. 20, 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 34, 36 by 3 p.m. So at least we get above freezing. And we get rain. So we have this batch of rain Monday into Tuesday. Little bit of a break. Here it comes again. Tuesday night, periods of rain into Wednesday. Here's another break, but look at this. We get more showers rolling in on Friday. So we got plenty of chances for rain as we go through about the next week. And our temperatures, they're going to warm up, which is great. All right, 38 on Sunday, freezing rain tomorrow night, and then over to rain on Monday. High temp at 39, 46 Tuesday, 48 on Wednesday. Look at this, 50s near 60 by next Friday. Showers again by the time we head into Friday and Saturday. Elise?
Coming up, a popular gaming platform laying off employees.
Despite strong sales and multi-billion-dollar mergers, we're seeing more layoffs in the gaming industry. I'm Eamon Dignam in New York. I'll explain why coming up.
Microsoft says Russian hackers gained access to the emails of its company leaders. The tech company says hackers backed by the Russian government broke into its email system and accounts of employees of the cybersecurity and legal teams. Microsoft reports the hack started in November, but was first discovered on January 12th. The company says only a, quote, very small percentage of accounts were accessed, but some emails and documents were stolen. Microsoft also says there is no indication any customer, production, or source code information was accessed. Costco is warning that scammers are impersonating its website to defraud its customers. The big box retailer says scammers are using replicas of its website seen here in this video in an attempt to steal customers' personal information, money, or both. Costco says the 20 such operations used illegitimate pop-up websites, ad surveys, text messages, emails, and fraudulent social media posts. The company says it used Costco.com as its domain name. Websites with a different domain should be avoided. Another round of video game related industry layoffs, this time at the top streaming platform for gaming. Fox's Eamon Dignam spoke to some workers and business owners about layoffs at Twitch in this edition of our Fox on Game series.
Streaming platform Twitch, a go-to for gamers, letting go of about 500 employees. I spoke to multiple industry members about their relation to the layoffs. Nathan Lindberg is a former Twitch employee, but he says he has a rosy outlook. He worked there for almost a decade and blames industry-wide layoffs on rapid overexpansion during the COVID lockdowns.
Most game publishers have made some sort of adjustment to headcount. And all it means is that there's opportunities for new people to create new things. And I'm one of them. I'm very lucky to be able to be out in market working on some new projects.
Others are also sharing the upside. Christopher Mann is another vendor in the game streaming universe. He's Senior Vice President of RevXP, the gaming portion of marketing agency Revolution, and says a lot of the layoffs are related to the collapse of several esports leagues.
The team business was really a house of cards that eventually was going to, tumble, and it's right-sizing itself now, I believe. And there's still incredible opportunity for brands working with the right teams.
And all those rosy predictions are bolstered by evidence on social media, like LinkedIn, where gaming industry veterans have gathered resources to share their connections and job openings. In 2023, an estimated 6,000 to 9,000 people were laid off in the gaming industry. For more on this story, check out the Fox on Tech, Fox on Games podcast this weekend. In New York, Eamon Dignam, Fox News.
Up next, the Buffalo Bills' stadium cooks up some new cuisine for tomorrow's playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs. The cuisine inspired by Taylor Swift. When it comes to tomorrow's game against the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills say they're ready for it. Highmark Stadium introduced 2 new Taylor Swift-inspired menu items for the matchup. Hospitality company Delaware North unveiled the Bad Blood Waffle Fries and Karma Quesadilla. Both are names inspired by Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce's superstar girlfriend. The Bad Blood Waffle Fries feature 2 feet of spiced waffle fries, half of which have buffalo chicken and blue cheese, while the other half features Kansas City Cattleman's barbecue pork, coleslaw, and pickles. The Karma Quesadilla is complete with chicken tenders, bacon, and cilantro ranch in a triple stacked quesadilla topped with pork belly. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The first in the nation New Hampshire primary is just a few days away, and we could see a much closer race than what we saw at the Iowa caucuses. Coming up. Just days to go to the first in the nation New Hampshire primary, and we could see a much closer race than what we saw at the Iowa caucuses. Fox News correspondent Alexis Adams has the latest.
As we get closer to Tuesday's primary, former President Donald Trump and former Governor Nikki Haley are in the top 2 spots, while Florida Governor Ron DeSantis sits in a distant third. The former president steamrolled his rivals on the way to a record-setting victory in Iowa, but Trump faces a somewhat tougher test in the Granite State, where undeclared voters can vote in the primary.
We just don't want you to take anything for granted. This is what I spent all last week saying. That sort of don't take it. Because we want to win by big margins.
Meanwhile, this weekend, Trump picking up support from one of his former competitors in this race, receiving the endorsement of South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. Some saw that as a snub to Haley, who appointed Scott to his Senate seat back when she was the state's governor.
We're seeing all the Washington insiders go towards Trump. It's interesting from a guy who says he wants to drain the swamp. We want the endorsements from the people of New Hampshire.
The latest tracking poll shows Trump at 53%, while Nikki Haley sits at 36% and DeSantis is at 7%. That's in a poll of Republican primary voters. An upset victory would give Haley a lot of momentum as the race then shifts to her home state.
South Carolina, the election's not for like 3 or 4 weeks. True. She's got a lot of time, and she knows how to win.
And officials are expecting high voter turnout on Tuesday. Reporting in Manchester, New Hampshire, I'm Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
The state of Kansas announces that 8 candidates, 4 Democrats and 4 Republicans, met yesterday's filing date for the state's presidential preference primary. The Democrat filed candidates are Dean Phillips, Jason Michael Palmer, Joseph R. Biden Jr., and Marianne Williamson. The Republican filed candidates are Donald J. Trump, Nikki R. Haley, Ron DeSantis, and Ryan L. Binkley. The preference primary will be held on March 19th. President Joe Biden's administration announces more debt cancellation for thousands of student loan borrowers. President Biden approved student debt cancellation for 74,000 borrowers yesterday. That brings the total number of borrowers with canceled debt under the administration to 3.7 million. Biden says 44,000 of the borrowers approved for the debt relief have at least 10 years of public service experience. A sigh of relief out of the Capitol after another government shutdown was averted. The resolution, which got them there, has many angry, and a lot of the anger is being pointed at the Speaker of the House. Fox News senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram reports.
Congress averted a partial government shutdown this weekend, doing exactly what House Speaker Mike Johnson pledged he wouldn't do, a third temporary spending bill.
On this vote, the yeas are 314, the nays are 108. 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended, and the Senate amendment is agreed to. And without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
A third punt on government funding infuriates conservatives. They wanted Johnson to slash spending now.
That is precisely what we're doing yet again, kicking the can down the road. That's what we do. It's what we do best in this chamber.
And even though more than 300 members voted yes on the interim bill, barely a majority of all Republicans casting ballots voted yes. 107 GOP yeas to 106 nays. Less than half of all House Republicans voted aye. Democrats hold most of the freight again.
The American people are frustrated that this do-nothing Republican Congress can't get out of its own way.
Johnson pledged he wouldn't do any more emergency bills and then reneged.
We need just a little bit more time on the calendars to allow that process to play out.
Johnson allies say there's a reason the Speaker needs an assist from the Democrats.
It is the smallest Republican majority ever. I don't care who you put in the Speaker's office. You're actually going to have a very difficult time trying to govern.
Democrats are in the minority, but play an outsized role.
We know that they are a dysfunctional majority. We know that they do not have actual votes to govern.
Johnson's maneuvers mimic those of former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, but so far conservatives aren't ready to oust Johnson.
Honestly, I'm not looking at that right now, but I think it's a good tool and I'm glad it's still in place.
Conservatives are watching to see if Johnson punts again or if he caves on a border security plan. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Still ahead, a private astronaut mission launches into space.
Space. I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at their trip to the International Space Station. That's all straight ahead.
Well, of course, another cold one for us today, but at least we have the sunshine, so that makes it feel a little bit better. Now we're going to start to get out of this deep freeze as we go into the next couple days. Now, tonight, everything's quiet by 11 p.m. down to 13, so it's going to be a cold night. 7 a.m., 16, back to 25 by 10 a.m. Overnight low at 13, which is still well below our average low. Average low is about 25 degrees. All right, not a whole bunch going on. We do have some clouds kind of skirting our northern counties. Besides that, we're pretty quiet, but if you look out west, the western third of the country, several waves. You can see little spins off the coast of the Pacific Northwest. All these waves are going to head toward us. Here's the first one just west of Las Vegas. That will start to affect us tomorrow night. You can see the second one right behind it. So we are going to have those rain chances as we go through the week. Let me walk you through the rest of the weekend. All right, tonight about 13, but we rise toward dawn to about 15 or 16 degrees. Clouds increase. Mostly cloudy skies for us tomorrow, near 30 by noon. Once we get into the afternoon, 37 in Nevada, so warmer. Pineville, 36, 35 in Bentonville. Miami, 35, Pittsburgh, 35, 36 in Chanute. But it's tomorrow night. We drop back right around 30 degrees. You see this pink? This is light freezing rain mixed in with a little bit of sleet, freezing drizzle. Temperatures hovering right around 30, so these bands start to push through. So here's 9:30 p.m., so right about the end of the Chiefs game, we have light freezing drizzle and light freezing rain. So we are going to get a little bit of a glaze on the roadways. You can see another batch comes in after midnight. Here's 2 a.m. on Monday. Light freezing drizzle continues into Monday morning, but look at this. Temperatures warm and we switch over to rain. So any ice we do get on the roads, yeah, it could be a little slippery, but it will melt very quickly as we go back to rain throughout the daytime hours on Monday. So on Monday, we just have periods of rain, temperatures warm into the upper 30s. Here's what you want to know. How much ice could we get? Not a lot, maybe 1/10 of an inch. So not enough to like bring down power lines or tree limbs, but enough to put a glaze on the roadways as we go into Monday morning. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. Here's your day planner for your Sunday. 20, 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 34, 36 by 3 p.m. So at least we get above freezing. And we get rain. So we have this batch of rain Monday into Tuesday. Little bit of a break. Here it comes again. Tuesday night, periods of rain into Wednesday. Here's another break, but look at this. We get more showers rolling in on Friday, so we got plenty of chances for rain as we go through about the next week. And our temperatures, they're going to warm up, which is great. All right, 38 on Sunday, freezing rain tomorrow night, and then over to rain on Monday. High temp at 39, 46 Tuesday, 48 on Wednesday. Look at this, 50s near 60 by next Friday. Showers again by the time we head into Friday and Saturday. Elise?
All right, thanks, Doug. Last weekend's Kansas City Chiefs game was the coldest game in Arrowhead Stadium history as they beat the Miami Dolphins in the wild card round of the NFL playoffs. It was so cold, head coach Andy Reid's mustache formed icicles. A Kansas bakery is memorializing the iconic look with an Andy Reid cake featuring the frozen mustache. Now another company is marketing that frozen stash image on a shirt. Ultimate Athletic Sportswear is selling at least 8,000 of the shirts authorized and autographed by Reid. The company also plans to sell sweatshirts and hoodies with the same image. Coming up in sports, the Pitt State Gorillas are on the road in Topeka against Washburn. And it's championship Saturday for a handful of our local high school basketball teams. Brock Baldridge joins us for the highlights and more up next.
Well, just about all of our local high school boys and girls basketball teams all across the 4 states are in a tournament this weekend. Today is the championship day for a handful of teams looking for a shot to bring home some hardware. Nevada versus Bartlesville in the championship game of the 4-state classic. Lady Tigers hit a buzzer beater to get to this game. In the first quarter, it's Clara Swearingen who pulls up from deep, knocks down the 3 ball. And later in the quarter, it's Lucy Swearingen, drives to the rim and gets fouled. You can count that in the bucket. Then her sister Clara right back at it. Left-hand layup is good, plus the foul. Nevada trailed by 15 going to halftime. So in the second half, Lady Tigers go to Kaylee Holcomb, who hits a 3 there from the corner. But Bartlesville, well, they made all the tough baskets they had to this afternoon. As Leah Lunn gets this one off the finger roll here for 2 points. And then in the fourth quarter, it's Mika Chambers who drops in the floater for another 2 points. Bartlesville goes on to beat Nevada 48-31. However, Nevada finishes in second place in the 4-state classic. Over to Webb City and Piedmont for the boys championship game of the 4-state classic. 6th year in a row the Cardinals have made this game. First quarter, Cardinals get on the board here as Baron Duda makes the easy basket. Cardinals lead early, but Piedmont can really shoot the rock today as Connor Beard splashes this 3-point shot here from the corner. Webb City down by 1 early. Later in the half, it's Eli Pace. He's going to put this one in from mid-range here, off close to the elbow there. A few possessions later, it's Omari Jackson. Gets a nice touch off the glass here. However, Webb City trails by 12 going into the half. Early second half now. Piedmont showing off their range again as Braden Lloyd buries a 3-point shot. Cardinals just trying to hang around this game as Baron Duda gets the tough bucket in the lane here. But Piedmont doesn't slow down the scoring spree as Braden Lloyd picks up a couple more points here. Webb City falls to Piedmont 78-57. Cardinals finish as runners-up in the Frontenac tournament. Over to Southeast High School tonight, Parsons versus Riverton in the boys championship game of the Lancer Classic. We start this game off. First points of the game belongs to Riverton's Locke North as he hits this one from 3 in the corner. Later in the first, Parsons showing off their range as well as Trey Mack buries the 3-point shot. Parsons leads by 1 at this point. Then in the second quarter, it's Parsons who goes on a scoring run here. J.J. Kendrick goes from one end of the court to the other to make the layup. And then it's Kendrick underneath the basket, gets the foul and 1. And then J.J. Kendrick shoots this one from deep, splashes home the 3-point shot. He scores 8 straight points for the Vikings. Parsons led by 2 at halftime. In the second half, Locke North, the fancy Euro step there for 2 points. Then North drives in the lane, finishes the layup. And then Riverton looking to stay hot going into the third quarter. Cale Forbes open for three, swishes that one home. Riverton goes on to beat Parsons 70-50. Rams are this year's champions of the Lancer Classic. Over to college hoops now, as the Pitt State Gorillas men's and women's basketball teams are each coming off of a loss to Emporia State on Wednesday night. The Gorillas continue their road trip as they look to bounce back against Washburn. Pitt State women's basketball faces Washburn tonight, only time that these two teams will meet each other this year. Pitt State loses this one 75-62. The Gorillas have now lost 4 of their last 5 games. Over to the men's side now, Gorillas facing the Washburn Inkabods on the road. Tight game to start as Sam Ungashik, driving and dodging the pressure, gets that bucket there to start off the game. On to the other end now, RJ Forney Jr. on the outside. Gorillas get the bucket there. They lead by 2. Next Washburn possession, Emmanuel Bird sees Jamar Johnson going up for the bucket there for the big layup. A lot of momentum out of that one. Still in the first half, Michael Keegan looking to pass, but he sees the jump shot there. That one goes through. It's now a 7-6 ball game. Later in the half, big man Braden Red gets the job done on the outside for the Gorillas. 3-point Pitt State lead, but Washburn got whatever they wanted inside the paint this afternoon. Andrew Orr with a mid-range shot there, and then Emmanuel Bird goes down low. Gets another jump shot there to go. Pitt State falls to Washburn on the road, 81-74. That's a look for sports. We'll be back after this.
SpaceX launches an all-European commercial crew to the International Space Station. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez has a look at the 2-week trip.
3, 2, 1, ignition, engine full power, and lift.
SpaceX launches another private astronaut mission into space. The Falcon 9 rocket blasted off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center Thursday afternoon, carrying the first all-European commercial crew. It includes the first Turkish astronaut to travel to space, as well as astronauts from Sweden and Italy, and a dual national from Spain and the U.S. who is commanding the mission. A seat on board the rocket costs at least $55 million.
Fundamentally, it really gets back to developing the organic capability within the company to do human spaceflight, which, despite how I hope we make it look easy, is actually very, very complicated.
The astronauts are expected to reach the International Space Station Saturday. They will spend about 2 weeks aboard studying the effects of human spaceflight and conducting research on neurological diseases.
We want to congratulate you on a great ride to orbit.
While SpaceX makes the rockets and spacecraft, the astronauts and their mission are coordinated by the Houston-based company Axiom Space. Thursday's launch was Axiom's third private astronaut mission to the International Space Station. The company plans to open its own commercial space station in the next decade.
Space is one thing that can unite us, and so it's very natural that nations can do this, especially now that companies like SpaceX are offering these quote-unquote private missions.
Axiom Space says its fourth crewed mission will take place later this year. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Up next, an iconic hula show in Hawaii returns after 20 years. Kodak Hula Show was a mainstay of Hawaii for almost 60 years, beginning in 1937. It ran through 2002, with the only interruption happening because of World War II. Now, more than 20 years after the last performance, the hula show is returning. Fox's Alina Lee reports.
Hawaii's culture and history is often found in its music.
It is our way of expressing our life, our stories, and just passing down all kinds of history through generations.
And now it'll fill the streets of Waikiki once again as a revived rendition of the Kodak Hula Show.
It's extremely sentimental to many of us. Every block that you walked, when you went through Waikiki, you would hear Hawaiian music. Part of the kuleana, or the responsibility that I see, is to restore that balance to Waikiki.
The iconic show has returned after more than 20 years, now as the Kilohana Hula Show.
What it represents is the finest that Hawaii has to offer. That's what Kilohana means. We've brought and assembled the best to be a part of this display of our culture, of our history, of our stories.
I have every confidence this is going to take things to a whole different level. A lot of good's going to come from this, and for all the right reasons, and in celebration of our Hawaiian culture.
The larger cast will feature award-winning halau and nostalgia.
Part of it is kupuna that actually used to perform in Waikiki and even at the Kodak Hula show.
We've learned a lot from our previous generations, our kupuna, so now being able to continue it and pass it down to the future generations is just really special to me.
The original show was canceled due to a lack of funding, but now it's here to stay.
Our nonprofit's funding this initiative. So we're not getting any private funds. This is not being covered by HTA dollars. This is CNHA's funding that we raise throughout the year.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with video of a rescued sea lion returning to the ocean. We'll see you back here next time. Thanks for making us part of your night.